Going, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Now we are going to be breaking down this weekend's Champions Cup semi-final, Leinster versus Northampton and Bordeaux versus Toulouse. Let's break it down. Please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel, and let's get into this. So first of all, I want to start off with the game that happened on Saturday. As you know, I'm a big Saints fan. I've made multiple videos. If you haven't watched them, go check them out. I got a lot of smack from a lot of people in relation to this. I tried bigging up Leinster. I tried bigging up Saints. Honestly, and I said this multiple times, if you look at logic, if you look at players, Leinster were the clear favourites. Everybody expected them to win, but my heart said the Saints. There was just something to me. There was something that just told me the Saints are going to win. And they won. They bloody won. What a... Tommy Freeman, first half hat-trick. Henry Pollock being an absolute nuisance that he is. And just the Saints pulled off the performance of the season. They pulled off what was needed. They pulled off every single thing. I do think it came down to a couple factors. Northampton were ready. They were battle ready, whereas Leinster were not. I don't think they were expecting the Saints to come out this strong, this fast, to have Alex Mitchell come out with the performance that he did, and essentially redlining from the first whistle. He was moving that ball out so quickly. Leinster they struggled to keep up, and we saw this throughout the entire game, where normally you are expecting Leinster to be controlling the game, be a couple points ahead, come the second half, take the game away. But no, it was the exact opposite. The Saints came in, they were strong, they were fast, they put a lot of pressure on Leinster, made them make mistakes, and Leinster were trailing the Saints throughout pretty much the entire game. And honestly, there were a couple bad decisions from Leinster. Going to run the ball instead of taking the points. And it was decisions like this, which honestly I felt was their downfall. Decisions like this, you look at the last 10 minutes of the game, Leinster could have drawn level. Prendergast was in a very good angle at the posts. He could have taken the penalty. He could have drawn 37-37. Go for the points. What do? They go for they want to run it. Sam Prendergast puts it out into the corner, goes for a line out, and ultimately the Saints win the ball back. They got too greedy. The Saints punished them. The last 10 to 15 minutes of the game, the Saints were down one man, and then for a little portion, they were down two men. Two men they were down. Leinster should have made the most out of it. Leinster's team was phenomenal. To be honest, I felt Jordie Barrett should have started the game. I don't feel he should have started on the bench. There were a couple decisions there. I truly do believe certain players' performances, like Archie Snyman, you don't often tend to hear me speak bad about him. Archie Snyman was dominated. He was kept quiet throughout pretty much the entire game, and that's not something you tend to hear from me very often, or many people, because he's such an imposing figure. Joe McCarthy was scary, very, very scary. Gibson Park, he played well. I do feel he was a little bit off his game. Prendergast, again, he had a pretty average game. James Lowe, he was kept in the pocket, and he wasn't as effective as he normally is. Now, don't get me wrong. He still played well, but I feel it was due to Northampton. They cut and they nullified a lot of the Leinster players, didn't allow them to get into that rhythm, get into that flow. And honestly, if Saints actually had to have their players battle tested and battle ready prior to this game, we potentially could have seen a completely different score. But hey, it's always nice to work in hindsight, okay? But the Saints, they won. They were the first team through to the finals. I had myself a couple of drinks after that to celebrate because what a bloody performance that was. And anyone that put money on the game, like I did, congratulations. Yes, congratulations, people. The odds were tasty. And when you have things like this, it's just, it's nice. Follow your heart. Like I say, I had a feeling. There was something that I felt, trust your gut, people. Trust your gut. Because the Saints came out with the upset of the season. Nobody was expecting that. But anyway, enough talking about the most amazing team in the world and best team ever to live in Northampton Saints. I'm just kidding. But Leinster, guys, do better. And Leo Cullen, do better. This is it's becoming, what's the word? A legacy. This is becoming your legacy. Bottling it. Your bottling cabinet is becoming very, very big. Something needs to change. Habits need to change. Decisions need to be changed. Maybe even you need to be changed. Who knows? Honestly, I wouldn't call for Leo Cullen to leave, but things need to change, especially in the back end of the season when important games like this matter. They matter. And the build up to this matters. But again, I'm no coach. I don't have any coaching experience. I just have what I see, what I understand, and what is in front of me. And what is in front of me seems like a very common pattern that keeps repeating itself. So, guys, Leinster are bloody phenomenal. I'm expecting them to come back hard next year. But as of now, bye-bye. We move on into the next game. Bordeaux versus Toulouse. And again, if you had to ask me who's going to win, Bordeaux or Toulouse, I would have given you Toulouse. Looking at the performances, well, I say performance, looking at the players, especially like some of the forwards, it's just ridiculous. You have Baye, you got Roma, you got Cyril Baye, Aldageri. It's like these guys are absolute monsters. They are killers. And then you look at the backs. Yes, the backs were not as strong as the Bordeaux's backs, because honestly, when you have players like Maxime Lucu, Jalibert, Barassi, Bielbiere, Damien Penaud, Bourse, that's hard to compete with. Yes, Toulouse were missing a couple players. Yes, it did affect them. Is it an excuse? No. Bordeaux dominated Toulouse. They were in the lead 77% of the game. They were the better team on the day. Again, I feel the same thing with Leinster. Toulouse had performances which should not have been. There were certain players that should have held themselves to a higher regard, who should have put the effort, who should have put that weight on them to carry it, to be better. Lucu had a brilliant, brilliant game. He moved that ball out so quickly, and that partnership between Jalibert and Lucu is stunning. But not only that, the work rate of Bielbiere, especially his second try, you see how he moves, his running lines, his patterns, is just, he's a dog. And what he sees, he chases. And everything, it means everything to him to get hold of that ball. And he is so fast. Toulouse really, really struggled with that pace, as we saw. Opening was 30 seconds, minute of the second half. That set the tone for the rest of the half. Honestly, it did. It really, really did. And then Toulouse were just stuck trying and trying and trying. And ultimately, they put up a pretty good fight. Don't get me wrong. But Barassi managed to get himself a try on the, 50th odd minute. But it wasn't enough. It really, really wasn't enough. Because then, was it a couple minutes later, you have Bocaton come on, bangs in another try, doesn't get converted. But then Tamefuna just bundles his way across. I don't know if he was tired or if he got a little bit hurt, because he is a pretty big man, and I'm pretty certain trekking across the field is not an easy task for him. He probably walks most of the way. But when you play in a position that he plays in, you don't need speed. You don't need to be able to run. You just need to be able to smash people's heads in. And he bundled his way through. So there's every chance that he was just really, really tired after he scored that try and just didn't want to get up and probably needed a cupcake. But 77th minute just sealed it. 35-18, they just sealed it. They really, really just sealed it. It was there. BLBRA, stellar performance. Maxime Lucu, stellar performance. Ciro Cazot, 17 tackles completed. Maxime Lucu, 52 passes. Romain Bourras, 7 defenders beaten. Brilliant performances by Bordeaux. They just outshone them, and there's not much else that you really could have done. Toulouse should have played better. The players should have fought with more heart. But hey, it is what it is. You know, Toulouse are going to be going home with their head in their hands saying, we effed up. We should have done better. Right? And they should have done better. Because honestly, Bordeaux, they were far more effective in the 22. Far more effective as to what they were doing. Because once they got into the 22, they were making things happen. And it shows. It really, really does show. But then you look into defense as well, right? They were superior in dominant tackles, offloads, tackles made. They were superior in terms of tackles missed. And by that, I mean they missed less tackles than Toulouse. And then turnovers won. Again, superior. I don't know. This is Toulouse we're talking about. They are going to bounce back. They have some of the best depth in world rugby. But on the day, anything's possible. It's 50-50. Look at what happened between Saints and Leinster. If the Saints had to play Leinster 10 times, I could see the Saints winning maybe 3, 4 out of 10. Good decisions make everything on the day. Northampton were battle-readied, they were hardened, they were prepared for the Leinster test. Leinster were not. Bordeaux were ready for this test. And I'm not going to say Toulouse were not. But on the day, Bordeaux pulled up their socks, said we're going to give the ball to BLBRA, and he's just going to run with it by any means necessary and get us as many points as physically possible. Which he actually did play bloody phenomenally, as he normally tends to do. The guy is... There's a debate on the best 11, and he's up there. He is up there at the young, ripe age of like 21 years old. doing things that people are only doing in their late 20s when they are well more experienced, faster, stronger. Bielbiere is playing far, far beyond his level. I hold him in the same regard that I hold Henry Pollock. He is in the same regard that I hold Sasha FM. Elite, elite talent at a very young age. And we are talking next generation superstars, next generation legends of the game, if they continue the way that their performances are. Because at the end of the day, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But legendary status players that we do have here, if they look after their body and keep themselves fit. But yeah, guys, all in all, Bordeaux, I wouldn't say they dismantled Toulouse. They controlled them, they annoyed them, they frustrated them, and they were just ready. Anything happened, they made the space, they found the cracks in Toulouse's defense, and they made them pay. They really, really made them pay. From the forwards to the backs, they were playing as one. They played very, very well. And for any team to put a scoreline of 35-18 past Toulouse, you know that they are an elite level side. And that's exactly what Bordeaux are. So guys, let me know what you guys think in relation to the games, whether you're a Northampton fan, and I'd love to hear from you guys, or you're a Leinster fan. Again, I'd love to hear from you as to what your take is on the game and your thoughts on Leo Cullen. And then I want to hear from you, French, or any of you supporters of the top 14. Bordeaux, Toulouse, the French Giants at it again. Bordeaux coming out on top again, showing Toulouse who's boss again. But anyway, guys, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. And catch you guys in the next one. Bye.